But he didn't want it. He had the service CIA or something. I don't know what he was. He had a good job. They lived in Germany 5 years.
Oh.
Kids went to school there. The whole family was, not just him.
Mm-hmm.
Whole family was in Germany. That's when we found about what that fish,
What fish?
that fish eggs.
Caviar?
Huh?
Caviar? Escargot?
No.
That's snail.
The little ones that nobody likes.
Caviar.
Oh,
Caviar.
Sardines.
So anyway, they brought cases and cases. They got used to caviar, different kinds. They were all excited. So when they came from, so everybody, what you bring for Germany, you know, when they came back, and they were all excited, and everybody had to try it. Nobody liked it.
Oh. Yeah, very salty.
Yeah, nobody. And so they said, well, try it on bread, try it on crackers, different thing, and nobody liked it.
It's an acquired taste. I never liked it. I'd go
And they said that's what they learned. They learned.
Pate, liver pate, and caviar was like, oh,
Escargot.
no, thank you. Escargot, no, thank
Yeah,
you.
so anyway, nobody
Tried
liked
it. Did the whole, I gotta try and be good, be social,
I tried
get a little
escargot.
sweet. It's like salty snot,
Mm-hmm.
only with garlic flavor. It was like, oh, I could do that by just sucking down a loogie and the garlic. It was gross.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah, and they brought cases, you know, they
Yeah.
could cheap, that could get it cheap. They brought a lot of stuff from Germany.
We had a nice French restaurant in Indianapolis, Indiana, that was up on the 34th floor. And you got in an elevator and you went up, and on the 34th floor you opened it up, and they were all garçons, they weren't waiters, they were all young boys from France who came there to learn to work. And our French class every year when I was in high school would go, and it was our practice to see how well our entire conversation all the way to the restaurant, during the restaurant, and all the way home was completely in French, and all the waiters and everybody were always in French, and I remember going there every time. But that was also where I tried duck a lot once and found out, ooh, I
never
love
understood
duck. Then I went to other restaurants and said, oh, I can't afford duck.
Yeah, what the nuns were teaching, giving the taste of French. So anyway, when you got in high school, they pronounced the letters and lines. I had more problems. She would pronounce it that way, and so you got used to all the nuns taught you. And so I only had one. Sally had it about 3 years. Sally said she could keep a conversation
With French?
French.
I took 3 years in 4 years in high school, and 3 years in college.
French?
Yeah. 7 years
How
of
could you
French.
keep a conversation?
I couldn't back then. I can't now.
Yeah, but the French from Canada are different than French from
It
France
is.
is different.
Yeah,
It is.
that's true. That's true. It's even like the Spanish languages. We
Because
live
I
so close.
expect you could keep a conversation. I only had it 1 year. La pupille, la corona, quite say. I said, I'm going to listen to those teachers tell me a les and a las.
Well, it depends if the noun is masculine or feminine, whether it's a les or a las.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
And
I
the
got
F-
into trouble. I did get into. I made it, but I got into trouble. And then the nuns used to say, when algebra, they used to say plus and minus. They give you a little taste of what to expect in high school. And up there, the teacher said, talking positive and negative. What the hell is he talking about, positive and negative? Then when he put on the blackboard, then you see he's putting that's a plus and a minus. Yeah. So it's no good when the teachers do that to you, and you know the nuns do it different. They leave it alone when you go to high school. Let them do it. They got used to the nuns. Yeah, they gave us we had Latin because we sang in the choir. Latin was on, but they didn't have it in high school. Yeah, so and some of the nuns I think were dumb. Because you know they went to become a nun, but they really weren't educated as a
Educated
teacher.
well, yeah.
Because I remember one thing I used to listen to, I believe, like my father was a strict religious man. So I hear the nuns fighting. Sister DeMarzio and Sister, forgot the other one. And yet you're stupid, she's telling the nuns. You only know how to arithmetic and geography. And all that, and they always argue. So, Sister Pearl, I think her name was, so she taught the 6th grade, and Sister DeMarzio taught the 5th grade. So there was 2 or 5 and there was 2 or 6. The one that was in Sister Demaya's class, she made him go into school with the summer, because Sister Demaya didn't teach all the subjects.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, so you got.
Did you have to go to school this summer? Was that
Yes,
your
that's
class?
how I remember it. I had Sister Demaya.
You had the sister that didn't keep everybody caught
Yeah.
up. Uh-oh.
They heard it. Yeah, no, I had Sister Demaya. That's how I remember the thing. If I didn't, I wouldn't remember it. I don't remember all the other nuns, but I remember.
I remember that.
Didn't
Now,
matter.
she made
She
you go
was
to summer
shocked
school.
the fact that I used to listen to them too hard. Yeah, stupid. That's a nonsense.
She only taught you math and geography?
Yeah, that's what she taught you, but when she had to give up report cards, so she had that subject. She had to mark it, right? So you had it once, she marked.
You're
So
done.
you were good.
You were good on that one day.
Yeah, but she always.
Science. This is a plant, this is an animal. What is this? Plant. What is this? An animal. Hey, you got 100%. That's all you need to know. So you're missing all the other parts of your science, but you know.
Yeah, so she taught you, and you got a good mark, your report card. But she didn't teach you anything, really. Most of the time she did teach us a lot. She had races, like we could do the best in her arithmetic. And so you had with the other class, you know, problems on a blackboard, you would always win, because you were good. She was
That's all I know how to teach, so we're going to be specialists in my area.
That's how I remember the 5th to 6th, half the other classes. The 5th to 6th, the Sister Margie. She's a short little fat here, roly-poly.
So the school went up to 6th grade?
No, 8th.
8th grade?
So you went to 8th, then you had to go to junior high, because it only had 3 years of high. So they graduate, you have to graduate in the 9th, and so there's 3. So we had to go 1 year to junior high.
Oh, it's a nice thing.
So we had, like I went to Williams, they were divided into 3 sections. So we went to Williams, Shirtliff, and Carter. So, what district you lived. Then you went to high, and they used to tell, when we went into school, we talked lousy English. Oh, the stupid poets come in that don't know how to speak English. Oh, we got ripped. We did. Not spoke like you come from a foreign country. You didn't know a word of English. You could speak every language, other language. Yeah, so anyway, we got even with them. Graduation time. It took you 9 years to get that piece of paper. We got it in 1 year, and we're not stupid. We got the diploma just as they did. 9 years. We ripped them. They made fun of us that we couldn't talk. But we got even. We did it in 1 year. And you knew who went to Shirtliff, Carter. You make your own mother. Every girl had to take up sewing. You made your own graduation dress.
Oh my goodness.
And you were all alike. So all Williams School, Carter School, you knew that you graduated that year. Kids were walking around with the same dresses. But you had, like a buckle would be like we were blue. And like a bead or what. And they would have, their color was like maroon, was Carter, Shirtliff was green. So you walk around, they knew what school you came from. They showed the pattern, and then they tell you how much material you have to get and what kind of material, and that's what you do. Through the season, you make your own graduation dress.
Did you guys have cap and gowns at that time?
Not for junior high. In a high school you do.
Oh, okay.
So you graduated public school, you got a diploma there, and there was a regular dress. I mean, the same like only in high school. So I was not green, I know it. You picked your own color. In junior high, it was all white. And it was the same, very simple pattern. Like I remember, it was pleated, pleat. And they tell you shoes, white shoes, girls, and stockings. That could be different. So you really was a good thing. So we won a half, so it only needed a half. So you had some more credit. So we took up cooking for the other half, everybody, to make it. I don't know what the boys, you know how you have to have credit.
You guys did like auto or?
Yeah. So we took cooking, and that was fun too. It wasn't real cooking. Learn how to manage how to set the table. It isn't just cooking. So I was a guest. proper way to hold your lean, how proper, there's a proper way to set your table. I know it all. Proper way to use it, ask me if I use it. Yeah. So I was, and so I know we had corn chowder. And they teach us, like cooking, to be clean. And an easy way to do it, not to be a slob when you're clean, you're doing something proper. So there was 4 assigned to each group. So we, like, there was 4, like, drawers, cooking everything, the same utensils. But the 4 kept the, clean, washed, and they would make, not very hard, like they had something going on in school, like football or what, so we girls would make fudge, so then they would sell it. We wouldn't eat it. We made it, but it's their property, their stuff. They did something, they had words, not words, something simple.
Free labor.
Yeah. Like cookies and brownies.
Yeah, I forgot.
You learn how to cook and we get to make money and sell the fudge.
And then you have to put the things back in order to teach you, how to hang, the pots and the pans, and organize in the drawers. You just didn't throw it any old way, and she would check you and tell you. And even peeling oranges and every potatoes, everything was included. A little bit of cooking.
So did your dad come over from Poland? Your dad was the one that came over, right?
Boy, my father was well educated, but we never asked him what school he was. I was thinking, we were interested in my mother. My mother didn't go to school. My mother went to school to say, my mother got citizen papers and everything. My mother went to school. My mother went to school here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so my mother went to school the same time we were going to school. She did homework and studied the same time we did.
Huh.
Yeah, she wanted,
Did your mom move here from Poland, or did she already live here when your dad met her?
No, he met her, they were neighbors. That's how they got married. They really weren't exactly in love, but they knew each other, and they needed a housemaid. We come from the same district. They were brought up, they went to school, Our last son came.
So they met here in America?
No,
No,
in Europe.
Poland.
In Europe they came over together.
Yeah, and so they
They were
came, and,
neighbors,
they knew a peer, you looked like they were both Polish. They went, the same churches and all, they knew each other. And so then they decided to get married. They don't know anybody, like she's the housekeeper, and he goes to work. Yeah, and so my mother worked cleaning in the operators, where your telephone operators that you see old time movies. And so she didn't know how to speak English, and she wasn't even thinking of learning. And then the operators make fun out of her. That you're in this country for all these years, how many years it was, I don't remember, and you didn't speak, shame on you. They shamed her so much, she signed up for school.
Oh.
See, she worked nights, cleaning. So then she was going, and we weren't allowed to talk. We had to talk Polish. When she started school, we talk English, no more Polish. She had to learn, so she would say, "Go, wait." And she did her arithmetic, and she said, "Did I do it right?" She studied like we did. She became a citizen. She voted, everything, and she learned how to write. Know how to do the operators thing.
That's great.
They taught her, so they wanted her sweet. They said, Adela, would you do the thing? When it was complicated, like she couldn't understand, some kind of in trouble or what, she didn't know what to do, she'd wake them up. The regular members, she knew how to put in it. And they used to come for in and out. If it wasn't the operator, so we said to her, she was so proud when she learned how to read, showing off. Would be riding on a streetcar, and she'd show us she could read. She would read it. Then there's people like holding newspaper in her car. See, I can read. Show it off that she could read. But she wouldn't have gone to school if they didn't make fun out of her. Like we were small, we didn't know better. Yeah, the operators, and they used to come for dinner. She'd go to their house, and they'd say, "How do you vote?" We wondered how she was doing on voting. I know what you do. She said, people that come and ask me how to vote, she said, I put it in my pocket, I don't remember it. So when I go to vote, I take the cards out, just the ones I vote, she looks for the same thing. Yeah, she voted. My father had no trouble, he went to school and everything, you just, whatever you have to do when you come from the country. So, my father could draw, paint, my father could do anything. He could do plumbing, electrician, anything. He did it, he built the porches, everything. He worked in the foundry in the General Electric. My mother didn't have to work, my father made good money. But my mother liked to dress in all expensive stuff, and she liked pretty stuff. So she wanted to work. My father said, you gotta mind the kids. If I find a job, she said, at night that I could be with the kids, can I work? That he didn't care. And that's how she got the job at night. Because my father, Europeans didn't believe in women working. So she got the job at night. And then she went to school, everything changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it like an arranged marriage? Why did they have to get married, or why did they choose to get married? Like, was it like arranged, like?
No, they just decided themselves. They know each other, they were neighbors,
But
and
did
they throw each other, yeah, like neighbors, you know, they knew.
Did they love
and
each other?
I don't know all those stories, so I couldn't tell you. But I
that's
know
very
she was a bride, the picture that they're standing up there, the picture near the TV, that was a bride. And Usher come there, he said, that's your mother's wedding picture, no? And I didn't know it was a wedding picture. I knew it wasn't their wedding, because we got the wedding, she got the veil on. And I was at Sally's house, somebody's house. They had Sister Michael, my cousin, see the mother's wedding picture. And there's my father and mother standing, you know, with the bridesmaids group. That's how I know it's a bridesmaids, and I really don't know much. My mother must have gotten mad with her family, because she never wanted to talk about it.
Oh.
We know nothing about her family, only what we questioned. Like her father died when she was 8 years old. That's all I know. And like my aunt would say, she looks like Josefa, like Josie, you know, sister. And so we don't know nothing about her family.
Oh.
Only when people would come say, gee, you're gray, your mother is still black, your hair. Your mother has her teeth, and you haven't got your teeth. This is how we know. People that went back to, that's what we know. But my mother wasn't on speaking terms. We figured that out. Because every time they want to talk about my mother shut them up. You don't want to talk. So she came to this country, whatever they want to say, she was mad. And she knew my father because they were neighbors. Because my father and my aunt was saying that my mother was old. This is how I put it two together. My father said that my mother was older than him. And she said she wasn't. Because Josie was your age, his sister. That's the only time she says it. I'm younger. My aunt says you were older. They would argue. You know.
She was probably older, and Jesse thinks she was
I
older.
know, but this is why I figured out my mother didn't want to talk about anything. But she brought it because she was older. My mother would never tell you her age. My mother was 40 when we were 40. Because when the doctor, years ago, the doctors came, and the doctor used to ask how old you were. She said to the doctor, 40. My sister's standing, she's over 40, I'm over 40. So my sister says, how long are you going to stay 40? You're telling the doctor 40 when we're over 40. We'll tell him I'm 50. You never want to tell her age. A lot of things in Europe, they burned down the war, so you couldn't have no record.
Oh.
You know, a lot of them can, because, you know, they lost it in the war. Because I know my mom lost, they couldn't find anything, because it was the war thing. Oh, she's a riot. My mother loved to dance, and she was a terrific dancer. And every week we went to dances. And she used to like to do the Russian cassette. We always went to dances. I knew how to polka, roll. Years ago, they didn't have babysitters. The kids were at the dances just with the kids. So your father would take you, I want to dance, I want to dance. So your father would take you by the hand, put you on his shoes, and you would dance. You thought you could dance. Yeah. So anyway, when they did the Russian cassette, you know, fancy dancing, my mother was there on the floor dancing. My father said, you can see your boobies. You can, oh, yes. built it, yeah, almost like this, you see the movie, way down.
Wow.
She was just, let her loose her woman. She loved to dance, and she was good at it. So she's good, she was always like kids. So every time it rained, like we lived in a block, with these kids upstairs, all that, they were all coming to our house, and my mother would teach them how to dance. And then she would have them on the belly, like your mother would remember, and she would jump and pop, jump around doing it. So she did it to all the kids. Jody was fat, she wanted the same thing. My mother said, no, you're so fat, I want it. She used to play with the kids on the floor, and she was teaching Rainey nothing to do. Now we've got TV and everything here. Yeah, so she used to play with the kids. She would dance so much. She knew that you could, when we got the rug, she didn't know that you could put a pad underneath it. She just bought a rug, put a rug. From dancing, you had holes. So how come the rug tore? She told me, the record player, the whining you do was the whining thing. I always dancing where the record, you change the record. Big holes. So then they told her about the pad, the second one. Are you sleepy?
I'm very tired.
Your lack of oxygen. My doctor said when I do that, why do I yawn? She said. And I thought it was always sleepy. She said, your lack of oxygen.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what she told me.
A couple of good deep breaths.
Your lack of oxygen. Because I thought it was because I was tired and sleepy. I yawned. I think it's time to lay down. And she said, your lack of oxygen. That's what the doctors say. I know how true it is. So I figured lack of oxygen, I got to see you and I still yawned. Yeah, my mother used to be funny.
What day was your mom's birthday, do you know?
My mother's birthday was March 19th on St. Joseph. She celebrated St. Joseph's Day. She claims she was born on St. Joseph's Day. That's another thing. They was all alive. She made a big deal out of it. And they said you weren't. I would have been Josephine, only we had a sister, Josephine, and that's why my mother didn't, name her Josephine. And they said, your birthday was not, that's another argument. To the last minute, I think even Joni would remember that. She always March 19th. The church, the priest was Joseph, so we never had no school on St. Joseph. It was his name. And that's why my mother and sister said she was born in St. Joseph, because she didn't have a birth certificate. But Helen said on death certificate, that she died at 89. Because I thought she died at 87. Today's the day my mother died. See, we're talking about her.
Oh.
I forgot it. I know she was laid out on New Year's, because I was wondering who the hell would come on New Year's to awake. Holiday drinking parties and all. She had a load. So Joni said, today's the Babci's anniversary. I said, I only think if Babci was laid out on New Year's. I talked about her being laid out on New Year's. So today is her anniversary. So Joni reminded me. Joni loved Babci. She was funny. And different things she did for Joni. She didn't mind fat kids. She liked to eat. She didn't think nothing of it. We had a lot of fights. She used to spoil Jody. A lot. And my sister and I had a lot of fights. That's a lot of time to think about it. We had a lot of fights. Jody wanted a course. Her little kids, we lived upstairs, they lived downstairs. So when my mother came from work, all the kids ran up. My mother kept everybody sleeping. She got the little kids. So anyway, she's having her breakfast, right? So she's having her coffee, and they wanted coffee. She gives it with milk. And so she gave Joni 2 with milk. Helen comes up and sees Joni drinking it. I don't want my kids to have coffee. My mother's telling her, it isn't exactly coffee, it's mostly milk. Pretend. I don't even want her to have it. They're cold, I'm still in bed. I got tired. I got tired of listening to it.
Why does it matter if they have coffee? What if it's bad
Used
for
to say it stunts your growth.
Oh.
Makes you hyper, gives you more energy by feeding kids tons of sugar.
So anyway, I get out of bed. I said, it's a big deal. She gave her coffee. She aware. From there, my sister got a night. Got a night.
How old were you?
Well, I was married, I had Sally.
Wow.
Yeah, I was living there because Sally was in the service in the Navy. That's how I was living with my mother. And so I didn't think nothing of it. Once she jumped in. So when word turned out, you know how arguments wait. 3 months we didn't talk.
Oh,
And who
wow.
comes around when we didn't talk? So when my cousin Sally came to visit us, we would sit close together. I wouldn't talk to her.
Wow.
Wouldn't talk to her. When I get mad, I'm very hard to make friends again. So every time she learned that from experience, and she didn't want me to be mad at her. She liked me better than I liked her. Joni was always jealous. She thought I was great. She always never gave Joni credit. She always raised mine. That's for Joni. I don't blame her. That's for daughter. And she always said, my sister can do this, my sister. And Joni's good in crocheting, just as good. She's good in knitting. She's good in cooking.
Mm-hmm.
She never gave her credit. She'd all give me so. Joni used to get mad on him. But she wanted me to be friends with her. Because I had a hard time to making friends with only her. I didn't do that to other people. We always fought. But nobody could beat her up. I'll beat the shit out of them and they beat her up. But I could beat her, but don't beat her. Yeah, so anyway, every time she saw I was getting mad on her, I would take her shit. She's the screeching kind. She's the irritating, if you got to know her. Did you ever hear her screech? Yes, you have an idea, Auntie. I used to be afraid of your sister.
My brothers were very afraid of Honey Helen.
Yeah. So she never wanted me.
You couldn't sit right in her house. You always had to sit careful. No matter what the boys did, it was never right. You sit on the bench, she had like this bench in the hallway. You sit there, don't move, don't touch nothing. And then she'd pull me into her bedroom. You want to see my jewelry? You'd have loved her because she's a lot like you. Everything was beautiful jewelry, beautiful clothes, and I just wasn't interested. You would have loved it. You would have sat there for hours, and that's what she wanted me to do, was sit there and look at her beautiful shirt. Look at this dress. Look at this coat. Look at this jewelry I give to you. I was 18 years old. I was going off to college, and she gave me this leopard. They were called lounging outfits, like what you would lounge around the house in. And it was like leopard skin pattern. It was like flowing all the way down like pantsuit. And it came up, and it was backless, and it came up with 2 little pieces that covered you and everything, and it was all stringy in the back, and then it had this coat that went over it and draped. And I'm going off to a dorm, and I'm marching through with my lounging outfit going, I am the princess. And I thought, and it was nice, it was comfortable, and I liked him, but not half as much as what you would have appreciated him. You know, you would have stood in front of a mirror like she did. That's all I remember. And this necklace goes with this outfit. I want you to keep this. My mother would say, it's all costume jewelry, it's okay. And I'd be like, oh. And I would go home and I'd stick it in the thing and I'd say, it's from Auntie Helen. I would try to be so polite and so nice, but I would just be like, so bored, didn't care about the jewelry, didn't care about the outfits, didn't care about the clothes. And that's what I think of when I think of Shelley, because Shelley would have just had a blast if she was in my shoes in that spot. And that's all she wanted to do, spend hours.
You know, funny, this is why I say that's not good to be. I'll give you an example. When Charlie died, you come to the funeral, to the house tea, and she had this parlor, living room, and so the rooms were all full. Nobody would step in that night. She said, it's all right to go in there. It's all right to, nobody go in.
When her
And this
husband
is
died,
a
no one
house
would
full
go
of
in
people.
because they were too scared, because everything was
You know how she always just soap. And so she wouldn't, and it was funny, everybody started, here's an empty room and all, so she called it. Sally Willis would say, that's a museum. Everybody said, that's a museum.
It's a perfect
Michael
house.
says, I don't like to go to Hammond's house when we were small.
Yeah, my brothers didn't like it.
Yeah, we don't like it. She said, do we have to go there? She's good, she gives you everything, I ain't gonna say she doesn't. It's just the way she did things.
Everything was perfection.
Yeah, and so anyway, she had these fancy furniture, silky, nice, beautiful stuff she had.
Really good taste. She had really, really good taste, and she didn't want, like my brothers, to ruin it. And so, like, I can remember you'd walk in and I'd think, wow, it was really, I mean, even the curtains were nice. The fabric that covered would be like velvet. Little boys could sit on velvet and ruin it. So, it should be like, it was all that crushed, fuzzy stuff. It was all really nice
Yeah,
stuff.
you walked. If you walk to her room, to the parlor, she's not home. She knows somebody works. They left footprints. She said, oh, Sonny's been in my house.
Because the cushion was so, the padding
Yeah,
was
it
so
left
thick
you
underneath, really nice car. Because she lived alone and she just really liked very nice things.
So that was like they call a museum. So they wouldn't even go in, even when she asked you, it's all right for you to go in. No. Yeah, so, oh, your sister's house is a museum.
She has really good taste in clothing and jewelry. I remember trying to learn from
It's
her.
French provincial. She said that's provincial.
And she had names for all the different,
Oh,
like the jewelry that has like the diamond shape that I like, that you have that black one that has the and I like certain things. I would say, I like that because it accentuates this part of my physique, you know, and she would say, well, the such and such of the such and such area of the women would wear such and I'd just be looking at her and I remember trying to think so hard. It's like when
This is your
Graham,
sister?
yeah, it's when
Night
Graham,
and day, we're night and day.
it's like when Graham drives around Salem and the streets aren't perpendicular and parallel and you're trying to figure out which direction. That's how I used to feel about Annie Helen. I was listening to her and I would think, I have nothing to connect this information to in my brain, and I would be so stuck. But you would have loved it. If I could have videotaped it back then, you would have been watching it over and over and over and you'd know everything she knows. Because it was good information. It just had nothing to do with swimming or tennis or dance.
Michael said, do we have to come here? And he wouldn't go to Auntie Jean's house either.
Why did they fight?
A button?
No.
Are you missing a button? There's a silver button.
That's from one of these things. I gave Sally one that was missing. This was missing. It could be from another.
Yeah.
I gave her, she couldn't find it to throw it.
Okay.
Well, I don't know
We'll
where
put
it
it
was.
on top of the microwave with your
Yeah.
stuff.
Is pumpkin pie burning?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Did you put
You
it on
probably turned it. Every time I try and turn it, Babci's oven is crooked, so it slides. So it's probably turning it.
Yeah, I didn't know it slides. Everybody's telling me slides when Sally made those lace things. Yeah, it split. It must have fell down. Oh, is the rod in the right place?
Yeah. It's just, the oven's just a little tilted, so. With it.
Well, I'm gonna get a small stove. There's gonna be only one oven if I have to buy a new one. Like, Mike Chan could put a dishwasher.
Yeah, that would be nice for you. It would sterilize all your stuff.
Yeah,
They
Michael
have
said,
little ones now too, Babci. Like the
I
ones
know,
in
I've
the
seen
apartment.
them. I've seen them on the counter.
They have little washer dryers, little
Well, see,
dishwashers.
I can't have very hot water. My hot water isn't as hot as people, because old people, there's a lot
Yeah, they don't want you to get burned.
burned. So like Donnie came, he said, so he went down the furnace, he's gonna make the hot, don't touch it, I said to him. I had to fight him and said everything over. He tried it. He doesn't know anything about a furnace, and he tried to make it harder. He doesn't tell you. So then
That would be
something
gone.
called, and smoke, a fire was coming out of my chimney.
Okay.
So I said, did you touch it? I told him, you don't know nothing, you could burn my house down. He says he didn't. Well, then the oilman came in, and they mark it on it, wherever, to know not to make it any higher.
Yeah.
And he says it's been moved.
He moved it back for you. Royal man.
So he put it back again.
Yeah.
And so he said, it like not to scald yourself.
Right.
You can get it very hot water.
Yeah, so he liked the real hot water that he wanted to come out red.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
John
said, I want to be all red, and I can't get myself hot enough to
I
have it
just
red.
didn't understand. It wasn't always about Dawn. Sometimes it was about somebody else, and you were in somebody else's house.
Well,
Yeah.
there's nobody comes here already.
Because they can give you, so like it's a smaller oven, and they could make it so like it's a built-in dishwasher between there, so that you can
I
have,
know for
or
Champion put
washer
in,
dryer.
Champion put one in. Yeah,
Mhm.
they put it in. I was hoping it would last, I won't have to buy another one.
You might go for another 20 years.
Please, I wouldn't want to ache for 20 more years. This is boring to live 20 years. It's only one room, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, anyway, I got more than a hospital has.
That's true.
Yeah.
I got the first floor, one floor. Like Mary said, I like them.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
boring.
yeah, it's boring, like where she is.
Babci, you want anything to eat or drink? Yourself off?